Welcome back to pregame.tv. We're going to do a bonus video for you guys. We're going to talk about betting futures and how to make the futures work for you when you have the opportunity. And recently, the national championship game, Florida State and Auburn, there was a lot of talk about, you know, Auburn was as high as, what, 1,000 to 1 when it opened at one of the sports books here in Las Vegas. And they got action. They had a bet on it at Auburn. And actually, I think the LVH had, I think, in total 13,
I believe.
13, not all at 1,000. It kept, you know, coming down, but still all the way down the ladder. You know, you don't have to bet a lot of money to have exposure. Then once we got to the national championship game, there was a lot of talk about, do you hedge? If you're a guy that has a future bet on Auburn, do you hedge? We're going to discuss that today. And to me, as somebody that bets, and, you know, we do this for a living, anytime you can lock in a profit with no risk, that's a no-brainer, because so many things can happen. You know, you could have a game, you know, your quarterback can get drilled on the first play of the game and be out of the game. And how do you feel about your future at that point? You know, lock in a profit. What do you guys think about future betting?
Well, here's the thing, because Marco and I are doing the show, and I told Marco, because on ESPN, on the website that day of the national championship game, I went on, and there was a kid, Mike Skiba, who actually, his dad was here in Vegas, and said, hey, I'm putting in some future. You want anything? He says, yeah, I'll take Auburn. What are they? They were 500 to 1 at the time. So he put the $100 on them. So $50,000 coming back. Once Auburn gets there, you know, they said, well, naturally you're going to hedge back. You know, you can get probably at least 20,000, 23,000, depending what the money line is, you know, guaranteed. The kid goes, no, I'm going to let the $50 ride. So I'm thinking, wow, it's kind of ballsy, kind of greedy, but So I looked at the poll, and it had 58% of the country, and there was 29,000 people polled at the time I looked, said they agreed with him, that they would let the $50 ride and go for the 50,000 and not hedge back at all. And I'm thinking, wow, these people must have a lot of money not to hedge back at all and take an automatic 23,000. So then it said, out of all the states, the only state majority-wise that would hedge back out of all of them, out of 50 states, Nevada, the only one that would hedge back. It was in blue. All the others were in red. And I'm going, that's why the brains live here, because people make their living by doing things, making living, hedging back, and knowing when to hedge back.
But, you know, and I said it to you on the show on Monday, is the general public would actually think that Nevada would have been the opposite, because they view us as gamblers, you know, free rolling, gambling, lifestyle, drinking, cruising the strip, all of that.
Living on the strip.
Yeah. But
your whole family thinks you live on the strip 24/7.
Yeah.
Well, they actually think that one of the electives in high school is pole dancing, too, for the girls.
A quick little story. I had a friend out here. We were at Treasure Island one day, and he says, he pulls me over. He goes, where do you get your groceries? I go, the grocery store. He had no idea, because he'd never been off the strip.
But I will admit, with the grocery stores, the first time I came here and, you know, went into Albertsons, was one of the chains here, I walked into the grocery store and I heard ding, 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 and I looked at, what the? There's slot machines in the grocery stores.
Yeah, you can lose your paycheck at 7-Eleven.
That blew my mind.
Gas station doesn't matter. That's right.
But guys, when you've got a chance to lock in a profit, and I think the mistake that people make is they look at it, and like you said, this guy had $50 at 1,000 to 1. Instead of him looking at, there's $50,000 at risk here, he's looking at it as there's $50 at risk here. They're not looking at it properly, that no, once you've made that bet and you're in that position, that's your money. You built the equity. That's the whole reason of betting a future, because you think there's equity in that bet. You're letting the bookmaker hold your money for 4, 5, 6 months, depending on the sport, you know, baseball season, 6 months. Why not make the money work for you when you got that position? We all complain every time we walk up to the betting window, you know, those darn bookmakers, they got that 11 to 10 edge on us, you know, every time we make a bet. Now you got a chance to, bend them over the counter. You're supposed to do it every single time. I'm sorry.
I just want to point out, this is the one guy you spoke about. He had 500 to 1. He bet 100 on it.
Right. Okay.
So he still had 50,000. He was going to win in that game. But yeah, the interesting thing about the poll was the entire nation. You look, you know, ESPN puts up these things. Who's going to win the championship or whatever. It was much closer than, you know, I mean, the Vegas line for the most part Florida State was a minus 350 favorite in this game. But when you're looking at the ESPN, the national, I think it was 58% thought that Florida State was going to win. It was very close to 50-50. I don't remember who they thought was going to win. So it tells me a little bit that the people who were asked that question thought the game was roughly a 50-50 chance to win it.
But it closed at minus 350 money line. It was minus 245 early on.
Very early.
Right,
very early.
Yeah, because
a lot of money came in on
one sports book here in town actually was lower than everybody else because they were actually begging for Florida State money to try to offset that. And the other point is, there was even other options during the game. Yeah. If you're here in Vegas, you got in-game wagering. You could have set yourself up where when they were behind, you could have bet the game in progress, bet the money line, or bet the adjusted point spread.
Halftime line, Florida State minus 8.5. You're down 11, so you've got Florida State plus 2.5 for the game, and you have Auburn. You cannot lose.
Yeah. Different options to.
Yeah, what you want to do, at least this is what I do when I'm looking at the future. Number one, is the money you're going to win life-changing money? If it is life-changing money, you've got to hedge back. You just can't take that chance. But another thing is, when you're placing a future bet, are you placing it because you think that team actually has a chance to win it all? Or are you playing it because you think there's value there and you can make money hedging? And I've played a few futures in my life, but I have not played the futures thinking I was going to win this. I had the golden ticket. I played it thinking, you know what? I got a chance to play the Padres here at 14 or 15 to 1 against the Yankees.
Good value.
Knowing, they ended up playing the Yankees and they got swept, I believe. But to win the National League, because I thought they were a pretty good team and I could hedge back when they got to the World Series. Problem was the Yankees were about a 5 to 1 favorite when it came to the World Series, so I wasn't able to do as much as I would have liked. But you've got to know when you're placing that bet, am I doing it because I'm a Cubs fan? Now, number one, if you're a Cubs fan, I feel terrible for you. Even the guy from Cleveland feels that. But you're never going to get the full value of playing the Cubs because they're such a popular team. But you've got to know going in. But when it gets down to that, you've got to look at yourself and say, you've got to be able to walk away. After this is all over, will you be kicking yourself for the rest of your life that you could have made $30,000 or $20,000 and you made zero? And even in the forum, there's guys on there saying, I had a 400 to 1 ticket on Auburn. Yeah. Well, you had a 401 ticket on Auburn, and you lost money. I had no future bet. I broke even. I'm ahead of you because you did not hedge. And who knows if he hedged or not? I really don't know. But you're still one of the teams that lost. Only one team could win it. So if you don't hedge back, you're costing yourself in the long run.
I will say this, that Chuck and I, my partner Chuck Edel, we had a couple years ago in the NCAA tournament, we had Kansas State and we had Baylor. And we had Baylor at 200 to 1 and Kansas State at 150 to 1. They both made it to the Elite Eight. So naturally, we were able to get our money back. Baylor lost to Duke in Houston. We thought they were going to be good-sized dogs, and they weren't going to get many calls there against Duke because Duke was a powerhouse. Kansas State, unfortunately, they were favored, and they lost to Butler by a point. Had Kansas State gotten to the Final Four, that's when you could have hedged back and started to make good money. We got our money back and actually doubled our money or tripled our money, whatever, but we could have really gotten good money. And that's the thing you have to look at is matchups, and then also, or protect, if you're looking at it to make money, you start looking and you got to go down the line and say, okay, can this team beat this? Yeah, they got a shot. When you're looking at 150, 200 to 1 and you get to the Elite Eight, that's where we had 2 good tickets. Unfortunately, we fell short and came close.
And you mentioned college basketball. Look at Butler. I mean, if you're betting a future on Butler, does anybody really think Butler's going to win the national championship? But you had plenty of time to hedge on that. And when they did get to the championship game, you were getting
I was at that game, and it was the worst college basketball game I'd ever seen in my life.
Yes.
In Houston against.
If you like offense, it was horrible. Can you imagine
like basketball? It was horrible.
Can you imagine though the last 3 possessions of the game? If you're sitting there, when Florida State scores, you're like, shit, I wish I should have hedged. Then Auburn scores,
Auburn comes back
and then you're saying,
19.
I knew it. I'm the man. And then to me, when that series happened, I love poker. To me, I was ahead on the flop, behind on the turn. And then you got rivered.
That was me. This guy had 4 aces.
Yeah.
I got a straight flush, and you just pulled a royal.
Yeah.
Marco and I were out for dinner with some friends watching the game, and Marco ordered a pizza. They called it the heart attack. And when he orders, he goes, "I'll have the heart attack." No matter what side of the game I had, if I had that kind of exposure, I would have had the heart attack.
Oh, man.
All right, guys. Well, we hope this helped you. We don't want to pick on anybody that may or may not have hedged, but guys, you make the tickets work for you. That's what it's all about. It's about making money. If you got an opportunity, lock it in. You don't have to give away the whole bet, but make sure you get something for your efforts. You made a hell of a pick. Don't walk away with nothing, because like Brian said, at the end of the day, that was a great pick on Auburn, but if you didn't hedge, you got 0. You lost. Losing ticket, just like everybody else.
There you go. And last thing, I say, I have a nice 15-1, and so does Chuck on San Francisco. Now we're there. We're not hedging yet against Carolina, but if we get to Seattle, then we're going to hedge.
Absolutely. All right, guys, hope that helped you. He's Brian Leonard. That's Ken Thompson. I'm your host, Marco D'Angelo. Good luck. Cash a lot of tickets. We'll be back. Pregame.tv.